Welcome to the 3 Gig Sports Podcast, where we are never wrong, but sometimes misinformed. I'm sitting alongside Jimmer and Rio today, and oh boy, we had a hell of a football game last night. We're excited to talk about that. Boys, the NFL season is here.
Hell yes.
There we go.
Let's do it. So we're going to talk, we're going to do a little bit of a recap of the game last night. And talk some sports coming up this weekend as far as college football and the NFL. But before we do that, per the usual, Jimmer, what's going on out there?
All right there, big guy. Cowboys starting right tackle, Leo Collins, suspended 5 games for not showing up for his drug test. What do you got there?
I'd be a whole lot worried if what I seen last night was really bad, but we held up without Zach Martin.
Let's not go into that. I'm just talking about this right here.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Go ahead and drop the line you dropped just a little bit ago. You can't.
I don't know.
You can't fail. I'm trying to feed you here, baby bird.
Well, yeah, you can't fail a drug test if you don't show up to a drug test.
Right.
So, right? It's not Dallas football if you're not. I'd be a whole lot more worried if that Conor McGregor didn't step up last night. So while it'll be a loss when Zach Martin gets back, he can slide out there and we'll be okay. Still a big loss here. I don't know what's up with not showing up to that, but weird. But
yeah, it's tough. When I heard about that, I couldn't help but think of John Jones and the stories about him when he was avoiding USADA. He'd be hiding under the ring and things like that. I could just totally picture your boy doing some shit like that.
Was it Leo that had was he the one with like the pop mask? Which one am I?
No,
thinking?
that was Tunzel.
That was Tunzel. Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. What was Leo's? Oh yeah, he was questioned for murder.
Question in a murder case. Yeah. So first round talent.
Drop all the way down.
Yeah,
I was pissed when Minnesota didn't take him. We need fucking linemen, and dude drops out of the draft, right? And you pick him up as a undrafted free agent. Yeah.
Yeah.
First round talent.
First round talent.
Easy.
Yeah,
undrafted.
easy. That's what they were talking.
The Big 12 unanimously gives okay to BYU, Cincinnati, Houston, and UCF. So looks like this is happening. What do you got?
Big deal. As long as the AAC is able to stay a Power 6 conference, that's all I care about.
To build off that a little bit, I did read a little bit ago that the AAC looks like they're going to give the okay to that they can leave by 2024. So like a year earlier than what they were trying to aim for anyway. So
okay.
But yeah, but this will be, they're letting them go because they have so many prospects to come in and keep themselves as a Power 6.
You're totally right.
Yeah. Big 12 is just going to be weak, pushing the Pac-12 for that weak spot, right?
I'm going to go with you. Pac-12, yep. The Colts extend Nyheim Hines with a 3-year deal worth $6.2 million annual average. I do believe it's 18.6 total.
Crazy.
What'd you say earlier, Danny? 12 million?
12 million
guaranteed.
Yeah.
It puts him in the top 10 paid running backs in the league and the top paid running back, non-lead running back. What do you got? And by the way, I'm going to name drop one. Over Kareem Hunt.
Yeah, that's tough. Crazy to imagine for a guy who's not the lead back. You got Jonathan Taylor there, who will be the featured back. At some point, you got to pay the O-line. Like, what are they thinking?
Yeah, you're going to have to pay Jonathan Taylor. You're going to have to pay Wentz at some point. Was he on a 1-year deal or something over there, too? I mean, if Wentz pans out.
Right, if he pans out, balls out, and you have to extend him, I mean, it just doesn't make sense for a guy who's a kick return third down specialist.
Yeah.
Well, it sounds like they want more from him, right? So if I drafted Jonathan Taylor, I'm nervous in fantasy. Aren't you?
Are you really nervous?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If that's what I drafted.
No, not at all.
I'm telling you.
Not in the slightest.
It's okay. You can go the Cowboys route and pay your guy and then not give him the rock.
Could do that.
Could do that.
Trevor Bauer's leave extended through the postseason, tentatively ending his season.
Have to do that here, I think, just for face purposes. You can't have somebody out there who's facing these kind of potential crimes and accusations. A lot of stuff coming out there.
I've seen
on
it.
both sides.
I was gonna say I've seen both sides. It's kind of weird
on both sides.
Yeah.
It's a kind of a real iffy thing on both sides. A lot of finger pointing back and forth. So just gonna let it play out on that. But yeah, they had to.
Yep.
Have Chris Sale test positive for the Rona, and will miss Sunday's start in the middle of Boston's wild card race.
Yeah, potentially. Like we said, it's getting down close here. So that could be a big one. He come back and he was pitching well, keeping him in ball games, winning ball games for him. So going to be missed there, coming down here to the stretch in the last, 15, 20 games here. So big time loss there.
Yeah, we're at a point where every game really matters, right? So that could be huge. I guess we'll see what happens.
Well, especially when you're losing what I think we can all agree probably definitely top 10, maybe top 5 pitcher in the game.
Yeah, when he's healthy.
When he's healthy, it's so that's a big hit. I mean, does that put a little damper? Maybe open the door a little bit for the Blue Jays. The Yankees are there, of course, but talking about Blue Jays who just beat the Yankees also yesterday.
Yeah, I think so. So then, what are they? 10-2 in their last 12 then with that win, Jim, or something like that.
Yeah.
So, yeah, doors opening.
Ravens signed Latavius Murray to a 1-year vet minimum and put him on the 53-man roster right away, unlike Le'Veon, who they put on the practice squad.
Yeah, Devonta Freeman, too, practice squad player. I think he's potentially going to be that lead back there. You'll see how he fits in. I think he fits in well.
Latavius?
Yep.
Yeah, he fits their style really well. He runs downfield.
I thought he was going to run with this Freeman thing just because he beat us to the punch on our fantasy to pick him up.
Worth.
Oh, no, I'm not
worth the
saying
flyer seat,
Yeah.
Maybe they go whoever's got the hot hand approach.
I just thought you were going to say no to Latavius isn't going to be nothing. It's going to be Freeman.
No, I think it'll be Latavius' job to lose.
I think it will be too.
There's a reason he went on the 53.
Yeah.
There's a reason.
I think he fits exactly how they run the ball. And their play calling itself.
Yeah.
ESPN Game Day will be in Ames, Iowa, as number 9 Iowa State takes on rival number 10 Iowa. Ashton Kutcher to be guest on that show.
Yeah, big time showdown here. Gonna be a tough one. I think low scoring. They have the over under at 46 right now. Definitely taking the under there. I think it'll be a low scoring defensive game.
Oh yeah.
Here, you could see under 20 potentially, I think.
Yeah, agreed. It's going to be an awesome game, and I can't imagine what it's going to be like in Ames tomorrow. It's going to be
win
nuts.
or lose.
Yeah.
Oh, it's gonna be crazy. As of right now, that's what I have. So, where would we like to lead off from there, Chris?
All right, so let's kick it off with some college underdog favorites for tomorrow. For myself, I've got 3. Iowa at 4.5 on underdog rivalry game. I'm going to go ahead and give them a slight advantage on the defensive end. I think Iowa State has one of the better defensives, but in what's going to come down to a defensive game, I like Iowa here. Cover that, potentially win. BYU 7-point underdogs. I could see them. Who they play here? I have to pull that up real quick. Utah in Provo. I think it can be done. The spread's got Utah by 7. So I could see that potentially being an upset there and them playing well. Their quarterback played pretty well last time out. Another one, Oregon, 14.5 to Ohio State. This one I could definitely see. Ohio State struggled a bit, right? I could see Oregon coming in and making some noise here and pulling it out.
Yeah, Oregon has a lot of talent. That's a really good pick right there, Rio. I'll go a different direction. I also have Iowa over Iowa State. We won't dwell on that too much. Low-scoring game. I think Iowa's defense is a little bit better, and they get the win here. My underdog and something that might intrigue Mr. Rio is I'm actually taking Arkansas to beat Texas.
Yeah, that's a so I don't know if you know, that's kind of a low-key rivalry for Texas. So, I looked at it and I was telling Jimmer off air, I was like, man, I just can't take it because it's against my team, but I could potentially see them giving them trouble. But hopefully they play well and stay to what they did last week. Not a horrible pick by any means.
Yeah, so I think Arkansas, that'll be my underdog pick on that end. And then if I were to go one more just to get away from the picks you said, I think Miami has the potential to lose to Appalachian State too after getting thumped by Bama. So that's where I'm at. Jimmer, what do you think?
Well, you guys are kind of just mopping mine up around me. So my upset picks are Buffalo plus 13.5 over Nebraska at Nebraska.
Is that really an upset?
Well, they're 13.5-point underdogs. That's what I'm going by.
Right, going off the line.
Going
Not
off
just
the line. Going off the line.
No matter what you think
know
their
what?
corn tastes like.
I was gonna say courtesy of FanDuel. That's what they have them at. So.
All right.
I also have Iowa plus 4.5 at Iowa State. So just looking this up while you guys were talking there. So they didn't play last year because of COVID. So ever since 2003, Iowa State has only won 5 games. Out of those, only one of them was over 3 points when they did beat us, as in Iowa. And that was back in 2005. It was 23-3. All the rest of these scores, when Iowa State pulled it off, 15-13, 44-41, 9-6, 20-17. So what I'm getting at is that even if Iowa State does win, it's still in my mind it's going to be by that field goal or less. It's not going to be a comfortable pick. You might be sweating it out a little bit, but. So that's who I had for that. I have San Diego State plus 2.5 at Arizona. I don't know how they're the underdog, but like we just previously said, FanDuel has them at plus 2.5.
Yeah.
Usually, my general rule of thumb is I do not bet against any one of the Arizona schools in Arizona at night.
Yeah, something about playing, the desert air at night. I don't bet. Also, games in Iowa at night. If you're a top team, I don't take that either.
Yep. I do have a couple stone cold locks. The ones that I literally will put my money on, and the other ones I kind of did. I did put money on, but these are the ones that I felt the most comfortable, put the most money at. One is Rutgers minus 2.5 at Syracuse. I think Greg Schiano he left the program there for a little bit. They basically found out that it goes all downhill once he left. Came back and almost hasn't missed a beat. In fact, has gotten that program even stronger, and I think they're going to continue to get better as long as they are able to keep him, that is.
See, you get it wrong. You just start making promises to these players, right?
Right. And then here's my bigger one, and you made this one, and I think I'm going out on a limb, but I still feel good about it for whatever reason. It is Toledo plus 16.5 at Notre Dame.
I don't know.
I understand that, but I'm trying to push it out of my head. About Notre Dame, the name, and actually go and look out like Toledo has been playing. And Notre Dame looked good, don't get me wrong, but they also won against Florida State. Florida State was nothing last year, and I understand they've gotten better, but I don't know. That's what I got. That's what I got for my. Those are my two stone cold locks. So
yeah, in Notre Dame, I don't know. Be interesting.
I think if we're going to go by purely spreads, I think Oregon covers that. Was it 14.5? I think they cover that. I think it's too big. That. It is still a freshman quarterback back there. Whether you're a 5-star or not, it's still a freshman quarterback. And
he did not look good.
He did not look good in that first 2 quarters.
Right. And
I'm not saying he looked. Did he look really that good afterwards? If we really want to be honest, or was it the receivers that made him look good?
Right.
So I'm. I could see Oregon upsetting them too, but I definitely think that line's too big. So I take Oregon plus the 14.5.
Okay. Yeah. So kind of rolling off of that, My pick to see what ranked team gets knocked off, I'm picking BYU. You know, only 7-point underdogs in Provo. That's my pick. I think they could make it a tough game. Quarterback played well last game. So that's my pick for top 25 knockoff here this week. What about you?
Yeah, I guess I mentioned I think Texas is who I'm sticking with. Not just the line. I think Texas actually loses to Arkansas tomorrow. That'll be my top 25 pick. I think it's their you said they've got a little bit of a rivalry, but this will be a nice little taste of the SEC that they'll be getting themselves into.
Okay. Want to put a bet on that? Or?
Would you like to do our whiskey wager, sir?
Oh, my goodness.
This is intriguing. You have our attention. Please explain.
So what I'd like to bring to the table here, and I want this to start being a regular thing instead of a water bet or something like that. I want to stock the garage fridge here because for those of you listening, 3 gig stands for 3 guys in a garage. I want to stock our garage fridge with just some shitty whiskey, some $5 5-star whiskey.
So no Crown.
So no Crown. No
Well,
Crown.
we can bring the Crown too. But
No Jack.
For the bet.
So the bet.
I've got some habanero mango whiskey that is not great.
I might just sip on that. That sounds delicious.
He's into that right there.
Yeah. But so the bet is loser takes a shot of the shitty whiskey before our next podcast.
All right, let's do it. Right here.
There it
There's
is,
the
our
shade.
official first one.
All right.
Whiskey wager, baby. And go ahead. And what was the wager again?
Texas beats Arkansas. He's saying SEC's going
Texas
to knock
beats
off.
Arkansas. Okay. Not
First
even-
taste of SEC.
There you go.
All
A
right.
little sample.
Cool.
Appreciate that. And
What
that's
about-
yours. So this one, I kind of went every which way. I like the BYU Utah one. I don't know if our even though I try to hate on like every team that Chris picks.
You know,
I just
that one
don't-
that sold it for me is Charlie Brewer. Dude can ball out except when the pressure is on. He doesn't.
Who's that?
Charlie Brewer,
For who?
quarterback for Utah.
Oh no. I'm not even talking about that. What I
Oh.
was about to get at was my next one. I was like, I don't think Texas loses that game.
I don't think so.
So
we look good. I think we take care of business.
let's
till-
calm down. I'm already eating my pride enough to go
Okay.
ahead and even saying this.
I think
Let's
we
stop saying
look
the word
good. Like I
good.
said, I think we finished third in the Big 12. I say we look good until we start playing our conference.
Until you actually
schedule.
play somebody.
Yeah, until
Okay.
Iowa State or something like that. Somebody that's,
Okay.
you know.
So
SEC
I'm gonna
crap.
go. I don't like doing this one because I actually picked them to have a pretty damn good season, and they just lost. Technically, got blown out. So I think they're gonna lose again, and I think that's gonna be Appalachian State over Miami.
Oh, you think Miami's getting?
I think they are. Appalachian State has been a consistent 9+ win team. They've even went bottom of the top 25 one year, and they just have a solid program. They've had it ever since FCS. You
Is
know,
that only an 8-point? Yeah, they only got
Yeah.
Miami by
Yeah.
8 points.
Yeah.
That's crazy in Miami.
in Miami. So I'm gonna go ahead and take the most likely is Appalachian State.
Who did they play? First game. I see their quarterback balled out, and their running back 15 carries, 126 yards.
I don't know, probably West Alabama. Isn't that what you like to say?
Yeah, something like that.
No, I didn't even look at like who they actually played. I just had this
Yep.
good feeling. Except for I didn't like to shit on Miami because I have high hopes for them. But when you look at that, it was like I didn't realize that's who they opened up with. They opened up with Alabama, and then Appalachian State is not a rollover. It's a small. I mean, it's a
Right.
smaller one, but
Low key trap game.
yep. So, looking at the NFL slate though. The one thing that I noticed going through the spreads is that they played this really conservative. But sometimes, and a few of them, I felt they were a little too conservative because they were just trying to test out the first week. I thought
Yeah, I
There's a
noticed
lot
that
of-
too. A lot of threes
a
and
lot of
and
threes
such.
both ways.
Yeah, even for what looks like it's going to be a bad team,
Yeah,
threes either way. So that was kind of surprising to me, and I agree. Probably waiting it out and seeing what they're looking like.
yeah. So going by that, my upset pick for the NFL slate is Dolphins +3 at the Patriots. I just feel like there's gonna be a little bit of a learning curve here for Mac. I think he's gonna have I'm starting to grow on the guy. I think he's gonna have a pretty damn good career actually. But I just think the Dolphins are more there. Their defenses, and I think Tua makes that step also. So I don't know. I just I feel like that one technically by their standards +3. So pick Dolphins. I have Seahawks at Colts -3. So it's not technically an upset pick, but I think a lot of people were leaning towards the Seahawks in that one. I actually like the Colts to cover that 3. That's everything clicking, though. Colts have a very underrated defense. We know about their line is pretty damn good on offense. And actually their defense, too, DeForest Buckner and those boys there. That running game. So, and then I'm going to wrap up my NFL one. For normal picks, I had the Browns +5.5 at the Chiefs. I think they cover that, and there's an outside shot they could win that. I do have 2 Stone Cold locks.
Stone Cold locks.
Stone Cold.
Rocky Mountain Cold. I have the Vikings -3 at Cincy. I don't think this is going to be anywhere close to 3. Since he's still in growing pains, Burrow still needs to shrug off like we talked about earlier this year. Earlier episodes is that he's still a little gun shy in the pocket. So they have gotten better, obviously, but he needs to kick that rust off completely. That defense isn't proven yet, and they do not have Trey Waynes for this, who, by the way, has not played a game since he joined Cincinnati on a 3-year, $42 million deal.
Straight stealing money.
Straight
Stealing money.
Money.
Shoot, man, they could have signed me for that, and I would have done more than him.
Oh, absolutely. At least would have been a president accounted for.
Oh, yeah, man. I'd only allowed 20 touchdowns last year.
This next one could quite literally be my lock of the week. Throw whatever expendable cash on it.
I will, and then I'll bill you.
Yeah, okay. And then take it to the bank. I'm telling you.
Take it to the bank. Here it is.
And that is Steelers at Bills -6.5. Bills are going to cover that all day. All damn day. Even in their backyard, they are jacked. They're ready to roll. I think it's still fresh in their mind about that AFC championship loss. Steelers are nowhere near in this one. So I think that's going to be double digits.
Right.
So
hopefully that's nothing like your Cowboys losing by 21.
Oh, here we go. Is this where we're rolling?
So,
okay.
All right. Well, my favorites, we're not too far off. I do have the Browns, 5.5-point underdogs versus Chiefs. I could see this being a really high-scoring affair and Browns coming out on top here. Dolphins, 3-point underdogs versus Patriots. This is not the Patriots of the past. Dolphins have spent these last few years collecting draft picks, trying to put the pieces together. I think this is the year they lead the Patriots for that 3rd spot or whatever there in the division. So I see them winning that. My next one, Giants, 3-point underdogs at Broncos. Not sold on Teddy yet. The defense is going to keep them in games, but I can see the Giants winning by 10 here. So that's why I took Giants here.
Okay.
Yeah, I think I'll add one to the mix. So Green Bay is -3.5 against the Saints, and I think they
roll.
I think they just beat the shit out of the Saints. The Saints should have been playing at home. Obviously, they're not going to. That's going to be a tough day.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm gonna build on you real quick, and I'll let you keep going though. But go ahead and take the over in that.
Yeah,
it's like
49.5.
You take the over on that. It's
Yeah.
Saints are gonna have to be throwing to hang with them. Well, I think we all can be in the same ballpark. The Packers are gonna probably put up 30.
Yeah.
Themselves, and I mean over 30, and then the Saints are gonna have to be throwing it to win. But go ahead.
Yeah. So the other one that I'm looking at is actually the most interesting game of the week. Jacksonville Jaguars against the Houston Texans.
Holy cow.
Hey,
so
I'm digging it. You set me up.
You did. I was like, oh, what am I not seeing?
Yeah, I was like, what the hell?
And then I was actually staring right at it. That ugly Jacksonville by 3-point or 3-point underdogs. Oh, my goodness.
3 points. I think Jacksonville can beat Houston by much more than that. So
Is this their only shot at getting a victory though? Texans this year?
Well, they get him twice,
Yeah.
so
I know. I just no. That's what I mean. This
Oh.
team.
Yeah, I think so.
yeah, it's coming.
But
it's so bad.
it's hard to say. Your Hall of Fame rookie might win some games that are unexpected, right?
No, he will win. Like he'll probably win 10 games this year himself.
Want to put a whiskey wager on
Whiskey wager.
I'm not drinking this shitty whiskey on that. That's for
that?
sure.
Oh, okay.
You know what? You want to take a 15 plus year bet. I will say that he makes us a Hall of Fame whiskey wager, whiskey bottle wager.
Whiskey bottle. That's terrible.
All right.
And then I guess if I had a stone cold lock, Mr. Jimmer, I like the way you phrased that. I'm gonna go Baltimore. Over the Raiders. They're at -4.
I cannot disagree with you on that. It was
Doesn't matter who the running back is.
That was
I think
too easy.
Tyson's
That's a
probably
layup. We left it for you.
He's
that's why it's called a stone
cold
cold.
lock, man.
Layup.
I think they're gonna roll, and I think
Yeah.
Tyson's gonna give me some points on my fantasy team too, since I'm starting him. So
Who?
Jeez. Say it again.
Tyson, how you say his name? Tyson, the running back for
The Ravens.
the Ravens.
Okay.
Is that the running back they're rolling with?
Yeah, well, they're not going to start Latavius yet. He doesn't know the offense, so it'll be Tyson.
Where's Justice Hill at?
He tore his.
Is he the one that tore his
Achilles.
Achilles? Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I knew that, but I guess it didn't dawn because all the other ones had fallen. Yeah, damn. I didn't even know the dude you're starting that guy.
Right. We're like, who?
Yeah.
What?
Who are you playing?
Yeah,
Rio?
yeah.
Oh God, here's another whiskey wager. I got one right now.
Oh,
you
baby.
may be laying up to Chris. I want you to beat Chris. Actually, I don't. We have a wager on our fantasy teams. Go ahead, whoop that ass. I hope you start him.
Yeah.
Keep
that's
doing
right.
that dum dum.
We're
Getting
good.
it. Get that ass, son.
We're good, man.
We'll go a game you can potentially see in being a shootout, and what you're gonna take the over on. For me, I'm taking the Jets and Panthers. Over under 44.5. I could see this being a sneaky shootout. Jets gonna throw the ball. I'm not trusting any of the running backs here. You know, they got several receivers there. Open it up, let it throw. For the Panthers, you got Darnold. He's going to throw. You got 3 nice receivers out there. Christian McCaffrey back. Probably going to put up some points on the Jets. Jets are going to have to throw the ball to keep up. I think this is going over that.
Yeah, that's not a bad pick.
Not bad at all. We're talking about shootout games. So
One under the. We need one under the radar.
I'm gonna
Danny,
give
it to us.
I'm going to give you an under the radar pick. And I'm actually going to go back to my Jaguars-Texans game. And I think that shit could easily be a 30-27 game just because both teams are so bad.
The defense.
Both defenses especially, yeah. I think there could just be a bunch of points that we don't expect.
We'll just build towards my boy's Hall of Fame career. So
Game of the week, by the way. I told you that.
Game
so
of the week.
game of the week.
Well, there's a
forget it.
reason they're playing at noon. So.
One of them will be
Right.
1-0.
So they can hide them, so you can't have nobody's forced to watch.
Is it in Jacksonville? Because there won't even be fans
It's
there
in
watching.
Houston.
either.
No, it's in Houston.
So
the same. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, so on mine, I went Philly and Atlanta. I think the defenses on both are horrible. Philly's is probably a little bit better, but at the end of the day, we know Matt Ryan's going to chuck it around, and we know
Right.
Calvin Ridley's going to ball out, right?
Yeah.
Kyle Pitts is probably going to have a show-out party on this, and then Jalen Hurts, I think, is going to run wild. So I see a lot of fantasy points here. Do not ask me outside of Calvin Ridley on which one's going to get them all, unless you're talking about Jalen Hurts. Jalen Hurts will get you a bunch of rushing yards in this one. I could see him easily going to 80-plus yards rushing.
You know, I like Miles Sanders here. I don't know if Falcons did enough for their run D. So if
There
he
you go.
gets the ball in volume, you know, because I feel like he's always kind of started slow. I've had him in fantasy a few years and kind of gets him, you know, to me, it feels like he's a volume back. And more he gets the ball, more he gets comfortable, more he starts rolling, balling out for his team. So, yeah, not bad. I think I think I'd looked at that one earlier and thought it was a little easy. Like, I could see that one getting wild. So, very nice.
Getting wild. Buck wild.
Getting wild.
You want to touch before we get into the much warm debate of last night's football game? you want to touch on some UFC there, Chris?
Yeah, so we've got some fights coming up here, big fights, and we're going to name a few. Amanda Nunes versus Juliana Pena, Bantamweight Championship. This is not till December. Big-time fight, another championship. I think Nunes here just keeps rolling. Man, she is so good, so dominant. Yeah, I don't think we see another one like her. This is what I think the UFC thought and wanted Rousey to be.
Yep.
And ultimately, we know what happened to her. But
Well, hold on. Let's throw some respect on my girl Rousey. So
throw some respect.
So without her, and the boom and what she became, and taking the women's, taking the women into respect in the UFC was huge. But yes, this is this may be one of the fiercest fighters I've ever watched. This woman can do both.
Yeah.
She can take you down the ground and wrestle you. She can pound your face in and beat the ever-loving piss out of you.
Yeah.
And make it last seconds. And like, what the hell just happened? So,
Mm-hmm.
anytime that I don't even care who she's fighting. Anytime that she's on, honestly, I love watching that woman fight.
Mm-hmm.
The intensity.
I like Rousey. I just think, she did great things for women's combat sports. I just think she was first, right?
Mm-hmm.
The first one there, the first one to do it. I just think it was. She was so one-dimensional. So I think she was just first. She did great things for women's combat sports, but
She still owns records, though.
that I have no idea, but I'm
Oh,
sure
well,
I'm sure for title defenses and stuff.
No, I'm talking that maybe, but the fastest pins, the fastest
Submissions. Yeah, I think Rousey.
in women's.
I'd compare her to, really good basketball players in the 80s versus like LeBron James, Kevin Durant right now, right? That without those guys, the game isn't what it is today,
Mm-hmm.
but they are nothing compared to what the guys today can do. That's how I'd compare it. Amanda Nunes is great. She can do everything. She does nothing but pressure you the entire time. You can't do anything
Mhm.
when you're backing up the whole time. It's impossible. And then if you happen to get her on the ground or something like that, you can't do shit. She's ridiculous, man. She could go down as the GOAT, man or woman. Doesn't matter. She could end up going down as the GOAT, period.
Yeah, yep. I could absolutely see it. The one I'm looking forward to personally, well, there's two, but I'm looking forward to the Kamaru Usman, Kobe Covington.
That one will be a good fight. It was a good first fight as well.
It was a damn good fight. I remember watching it, and I remember the fight being pretty damn close, and then the broken jaw kind of just,
Right.
Can't wait to actually see them get back in there and let. Has that been a few years now that they duked her out? 2 years.
It's been a little bit. He's been sidelined.
Been a little bit, but there's still been chatter.
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
So been waiting for that. That's November 6th, UFC 268.
Has Colby been hurt, or what's his deal? Why hasn't he fought at all since then?
I think part of the recovery and then trying to wait his shot.
Did he change gyms?
That I don't know. I don't know if he changed gyms or not. But kind of just waiting a shot too.
That's what worries me is when you're fighting at that level and you take, no matter what the reason, when you're off for 2 years, coming back to fight a guy at the level of Usman who's fresh, who's literally, he doesn't have ring rust because he's been fighting every few months, every 4 months, whatever it is. That's just tough. No matter how great the first fight was, it worries me that it could be just Usman domination.
Okay, so he did TKO Woodley September 19th of 2020. So actually recent. Well, kind of recent.
Well, a year ago.
A year ago now,
Yep.
but
That was after the Usman fight, huh?
yeah. I didn't realize he had one.
I didn't
don't
realize he
remember
did
that.
actually.
Yeah.
So he beats Woodley,
Well,
who was on his way out.
I was say it was Woodley. Maybe that's the reason why.
On his way out, and then he probably must have been just waiting his shot.
Okay, that sounded bad. All right. It's a little inside.
My other one was Justin Gaethje and Michael Chandler, also in the same UFC one, which is 268.
Yeah.
I've been waiting for him. Curious how he rebounds from, as my boy Luke and Rio call, getting mauled by Khabib. And I think he rebounds nicely. I I think the energy that comes from that man when he fights and the way he gets himself up, so much that he actually needs to calm himself down. He's even had interviews about that. He's like, I needed to learn how to bring myself down and try to center my energy into, instead of going so high, and then he ended up losing some matches that way because he was getting a little erratic. So, but I'm excited to see him get in there. And the one that isn't documented yet, that I can never wait for, or I can always need it right now. UFC, pay those boys. You know what I'm talking about, right?
John Jones and Francis Ngannou.
Exactly. This needs to happen.
Needs to happen. I agree.
Let's pay them in. You know you're gonna sell buku pay-per-views off this. I think we all discussed when that one comes in, if and when they do match off. If John Jones gets out of the first round, I think John Jones wins that match. But Ngannou can definitely hurt this man in the first round for sure.
Yeah, I agree. He's got to make it out of the first. That's when he's probably going to be the most dangerous. He's going to have power the whole time, but when he's fresh, most dangerous. And then I think John Jones has showed us he can wear people down over the course of a fight. He showed us several times.
He's kind of like, whenever I watch John Jones fight, he kind of reminds me of like the Mayweather of UFC. You can't beat him if you can't touch him. So when it looks like he's getting hit, if you actually watch the replay, he's barely getting touched. Just like when you think like Mayweather, when I watch Mayweather and Pacquiao, I thought Pacquiao was whooping his ass the whole time. And he was the one asserting the dominance. He was pushing into him, swinging, boom, boom, boom. Well, you actually look, he missed a bunch of those. And the few that he hit was him covering up. So he wasn't actually making true contact. I think it's the same, and that's what I mean. It's kind of the same thing for me when I watch John Jones. Doesn't feel like anyone really gets 100% solid connection. So if John Jones is one of my favorite fighters, as of right now, the GOAT, and I think he could be in serious danger if Ngannou lands one. So, but
everybody on the planet would be, right?
Yeah, well, maybe not my man Bulldog.
Bulldog, shout out to you, man. Hope you're tuning in. Justin Gaethje, Michael Chandler, man. That one will be an amazing fight. I'm going to have to go with Michael Chandler. I think if he can withstand those leg kicks and incorporate more of his wrestling in, I think he can get the win here. Gaethje's got that power kicks to set everything up top. So it'll be amazing fight nonetheless. One everyone should be tuning in for. That would be a nice one. Another one for myself, Aljamain Sterling and Peter Yan. I don't know if y'all paid too much attention, but had an illegal knee from Peter Yan, and he was busting old boy up, Sterling up, clearly winning the fight. Aljamain takes the disqualification and takes the belt with him. At first he wasn't talking, and now he's starting to talk. It's like, dude, you were down on the scorecards and you were getting beat up. Hey, it's all fair and whatever. Take the belt, but don't be running your mouth in a fight. You were getting beat up.
It's kind of one of those unwritten things in a way. Like, you gain more respect for not taking.
Yeah, I can't. You know what?
I understand the rules, but you remember the Lionheart versus Jones.
Yeah, and he didn't take it. And he kept fighting.
And he could have taken it. And John Jones, you could just tell he's like appreciative, like in respectful.
Absolutely.
Like, hey, you're a man for doing this. What he thought was the right way. It was an accidental, or at least he claims accidental. Wasn't that an elbow?
Right, I believe so.
Yeah, I think it was an elbow.
Yeah, it was a 90. Right?
Yeah. I don't mind him taking the belt, but then some of that noise that's coming out. I was like, man, you were behind on the scorecards and kind of getting beat up there. I like Peter Yan again. I think it's just his time. He has been looking really good. I don't know. They've had some time to, the rounds they did have together to really study, look back, train. So it could be a different fight this time. I don't know. But that's a sneaky one for me that'll also be up there as a good fight.
Yeah, I think Peter Yan whoops his ass.
I think so too, man. I think it's just his time. He's put everything together. He's looked so good.
So good.
So good in his last few fights.
Yeah, I agree. And I've got Justin Gaethje. against Michael Chandler. I think Gaethje takes that. I think Chandler, he's getting older. He's been around for a little while, and Gaethje's pretty motivated. He has a chance if he beats Chandler to fight for the belt again, right? It would probably be
Most likely.
him and old boy that just beat up Connor, right?
Yeah.
Something like
Poirier.
that.
Dustin Poirier.
If Poirier took it, yeah.
You know what scares me about Gaethje is eventually all that damage has got to catch up at some point, right?
You would think.
You would think. He just
Yeah.
takes so much damage, and yeah, it's awesome to watch and stuff, but at some point you got to be concerned about old dude eventually, you know, potentially long-term brain damage and such, but, you know, I think eventually it may cost him a fight. You know, maybe I've been clipped one too many times, so now my jaw, what used to be strong for me, is now, oh, I get clipped, now I'm going down.
Yeah, all it takes is one, right? You don't know when that one's going to clip just right to where you end up like Chuck Liddell and just you get knocked
just
out
kind of
super
out of it,
easy.
no matter,
Yeah.
you know, just in a normal conversation.
Yeah, and I think, Jimmer, you mentioned the Jones and Ngannou potential fight.
Mm-hmm.
The thing that people don't talk about enough with John Jones is his length, like the length of his arms. He's a tall guy, and they basically come down to his knees, man. So he can throw elbows at most people at the same distance they would throw a fist, right? So he's able to keep the distance. And so when you're talking about guys where you think they're clipping him and things like that, they just might not be because he keeps his distance so well in that respect. It's one of those perfect examples of a fight where Jones is probably one of the most well-rounded guys in the UFC period versus a guy that has, if we were making a video game, 1,000% power. You know what I mean? Bill, all he has to do, if he clips you one time, that's a wrap. You're going nine-nine. You know what I mean? It'll be an amazing fight. I hope it actually happens, and sooner than later too. But Jones is bulking up, so hopefully that doesn't affect him too.
Exactly. And I don't know. You're about to get punched by. Hopefully he's faster than them, because when you go up there, these boys go for one thing up at that weight class.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Somebody's leaving.
Somebody's
with
leaving.
little cuckoo, right?
Yeah.
Hey, and can we give a little love to Stipe too? Why is there no rematch being talked about for that? Seems like bullshit to me. He's held that belt and defended it more than anybody else, right? But he's not even in the conversation to potentially get a title shot again. Doesn't that seem like bullshit, Rio?
Well, sure, but the biggest one is Ngannou, them wanting to strip him and stripping him.
That's bullshit too. No,
that
argument.
is, I think, a little bit bigger in my mind. You know, oh, you don't want to fight. When we say, like, how many times have you fought and gone through these guys, and then all of a sudden, you know, so that his is more of a bullshit call for me than that, but definitely close second, absolutely. This guy's been, how many times did he fight DC? I mean, going in there and wars with him. So, yeah, absolutely.
That should be, until Jones comes, shouldn't that be the title fight right now, is Stipe and Ngannou?
You know, hopefully maybe if they, I don't know, it depends on if they could work out the money situation. Let's talk about that. Like, Dana White, come on. You're starting to lose guys to Bare Knuckle FC, among other promotions that are going just because
One FC.
Just off of pay. Pay these guys. You know, you see them floating over to boxing.
Yeah. He's a goddamn billionaire. He sold the company, and he still gets a ridiculous paycheck.
Right. Pay these men.
Open the goddamn paycheck. Yeah, open the book. Pay these men, and you'll get some of the best fighters in the world. Stop fucking around.
Yeah, you're a great promoter, okay?
Yeah.
So you got UFC to fight even during COVID when no other sport was going on.
Right.
So
awesome.
that's awesome.
Awesome.
But you got to pay these fucking guys to get people to watch it.
Did he not also build like a fucking, well, not a stadium, but he built a fucking
Fight Island.
fight
exactly.
island just to get them in.
That's what he should do, but he's kind, you know, and it's felt like he's always held that over their heads. Like, we're the biggest promotion, we get the most looks, this and that. If you want anybody, you got to come fight for us, and we ain't gonna pay you shit. It's like, no, you should be going the other way. Hey, we're the only one putting on fights right now during COVID. We're gonna pay you an ass ton of money. Come fight for us. We'll get your name out, promotion, whatnot, and you'll get paid well. But you know, that just hasn't happened yet for whatever reason.
Hey, all those fighters own.
Right, I seen it.
No, what I mean is they own the correction in this. stand united and say we're not fighting. What's he gonna do? Get 50? He's gonna get that many fights filled in right now. Stand together, be like, we're not gonna fight until we are actually paid right. Because it was a big deal. Misha Tate after she fought.
Right, made that much money after sitting.
Yeah, well, made that much money. She only
compared to some of the people who.
No. Like after her training and stuff, you didn't see that.
I saw that. Well, she chose
it was like $1,000 or some shit.
Right, but you choose to how much you're gonna put into training. But the biggest surprise for me was the other way. She got paid this much for sitting how long to come back and fight?
Still a name.
I agree.
That's what you get paid for.
That's what all the UFC
that's
has
what
been.
you get paid for, and it should be more though.
It should be
because they all should be getting paid more than that.
They all should, and that's ultimately if you raise what those lower guys are making.
A 7th guy on an NBA team gets 3 years, $70-something odd million. Not in the starting 5.
Right. Well, look at practice squad players for NFL. They're making what, 6 figures?
Yeah.
Some of them, I mean.
Some. When you start getting down there, you're actually talking like 90,000 though.
Right, but still much more than, a lot of those UFC boys are making it. Yeah. Bring back sponsors at least. Shit. Get that sponsorship money. They can wear whatever on their, because that Reebok deal was bullshit. It was horrible.
Yep. I agree.
Horrible.
Well, we're getting to the
drum roll, please.
Drum roll. Let's talk about the one game last night. How about that game, boys? Expect anything different? Was it a surprise?
I don't know about a surprise, actually. And what I mean is...
Well, it had to be. You said they were going to beat them by 21, so...
No, not much of a surprise. They still won, so I'm not that concerned with it. I don't know if it... I mean, the offenses, like I was suspecting, were going to be playing. They were going to be balling. They're going to put up some points. They're going to put up an assload of yards, and that's what happened, right? The defense, if I want to put anything on anybody, is the shitty-ass Buccaneers defense.
The secondary.
Yeah.
Really.
Well, actually, you can still put it on the front 7. I don't even give a shit. That's on the or do we want to go to the shitty-ass play calling where they weren't running Zeke? Is that where you're trying to lead into? Because you can't say the front 7 was so damn good when they weren't even tested. Why didn't they adjust to a 3-man front then and just start kicking everyone back there and stop Dak from passing the ball?
Ultimately, you're still trying to sack the quarterback, right? They went pass heavy, so you're trying to get to the quarterback, and it didn't happen.
You still do that with a 3-man front. You can do that with corner blitzes. You do that with safety coming down. I do believe Jamal Adams was one of the top sack guys last year, safety. Mm-hmm. So no, that's a horrible one.
He plays like a linebacker.
That defense played horrible. That game should have been out, plain and simple. This game shouldn't have been anywhere close. There was turnovers that shouldn't have happened. Chris Godwin fumbling at the 1-yard line. Shitty ass Leonard Fournette. I did use a bad name earlier. What did I say?
LeGarrette Blount. He dropped LeGarrette Blount. He's like, I go, what?
I was like, come on, they run the same way. The whole works,
I get it.
And I was like, God damn, I think they both even had single-digit
terrible
numbers
backs
as they're
in
running,
Tampa Bay.
Exactly, and he even played for Tampa Bay too. So give me a little bit. Me a little bit.
You know who looked good though? Bernard, man. He made some catches there at the end.
At the end, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So
hey, I told you that.
A lot of it went exactly how I expected. I did expect it to be 21 or more, and it should have been. They left that shit out on the table. I was 100,000% correct that the reason why I was lighting up my buddy Danny over here for taking Mike Evans, the 2 best wide receivers that have his eye the whole time were Godwin and Brown. And then Gronk, obviously, he went back 10 years.
Yeah.
So did he not? Like he even showed
fantasy points.
He even showed the speed. He showed a little bit of the works. Last year it seemed like he was still getting an NFL shape. He was in shape, but NFL shape is a different story. So he showed a different one. That might have been steal right there.
I tell you what, I'm hoping it pans out because he was a late round pick for me. But one of the big plays that happened for, I believe it was a second touchdown when they sent a blitz there on the corner, and DeMarcus Lawrence was rushing, right, on Gronk. Gronk went to block him. Seeing the blitz coming off and immediately goes, hey, now I've got one-on-one coverage with DeMarcus Lawrence. Has got to stay up with me. Immediately takes off up the field, there on the 20 or whatever it was, 15. Takes off up the field and ends up catching a touchdown pass. That was a great football play, I'll tell you what.
Did you catch that? Did you catch that Brady Patrick Mahomes-esque throw that he made?
Oh yeah,
Did you see that one?
Yeah,
I was like, I was like, what
Yeah.
the hell? It could have been. I'm not gonna lie here. I will give you this. That should have been a pick six.
that
Yeah,
could have been.
There
a pick
was some
six.
goddamn
Oh, yeah.
air under that pass
Yeah.
right there. It was
yeah.
like a little
Yeah.
lob ball.
I believe that was Micah Parsons too.
But I'm gonna
Yeah, nobody was catching
before I
him.
get into my more factually based stuff here. What would you like to say about the game there, Daniel?
Yeah, so it's a really interesting game. I'll give you a few different pieces from what I gathered last night, man. So CeeDee Lamb, I don't know if I've ever seen a player look so shitty and so good on the same night at the same time. Like he dropped, like if he would have came through on some of the catches, it could have been a different game too.
What was that stat that you brought up to me?
So
I didn't know this.
I didn't realize it popped up last night when I was watching a game. Last year, CeeDee Lamb was tied for 4th in drop passes. That's a crazy stat. I guess all the flash and the plays stood out more than all the drops. I did not realize that.
So Terrell Owens-esque? Remember when Terrell Owens was
Yeah.
lead the league
Yeah.
in drops?
Yeah,
I honestly didn't realize that.
I didn't either. When I saw that, I was like, wow.
So there's still hope for Jamar Chase.
Jamar Chase,
Still.
you have got a glimmer of hope, buddy. No matter what the white stripes on the football are or aren't. Did y'all
Yeah.
hear that?
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Terrible.
Horrible.
Well, so Justin Jefferson is the best receiver.
in that
CeeDee's
draft,
not
I'm
even
sure.
in the,
Yeah, not in that conversation.
especially after
There's
that
a-
game.
It-
But go ahead.
I
Keep going.
was gonna bring up the lines. We had Deflategate. We're gonna have fucking paint
Oh, yeah.
gate here soon.
Oh, yeah.
The fucking Joe Burrow's gonna be like hiding the ball underneath his fucking jersey, putting white paint on the fucking outside of it so that his boy
Right.
can see the fucking ball come.
Yeah, Chase got like 11 catches for 300 yards. They're going to be like, hold
Like,
on.
hold
wait
on. We're not
wait
even
a
gonna we're not
second.
even gonna drug test either. We
Yeah.
just want to see where the line is.
Where's
on
the ball? Hold on.
My big concern, though, I don't think that the Zeke situation. I know Rio, you think it was a smart game plan because it ultimately kept him in the game. I think that was they should have given him more of a chance. I don't feel like they did. But the biggest concern I have for the Cowboys was when Dak was actually getting pressured there at the end of the first half. He looked like shit. Like when he was actually getting pressured and had to make a faster decision when they were finally getting to him. That's when I thought at the end of that first half when that was going on, I was like, fuck, Washington, Tampa is about to blow the doors off this because they can't do anything. But then all of a sudden in the second half, they weren't getting pressure and Dak could just do what he wanted and had, 17 options out there like he always does. But that if I had a concern besides him throwing 60 passes, that's the biggest thing, man.
I
When
guess
he
I
had
don't
pressure, it
get that
wasn't
because
good.
he had pressure, dropped the ball off his back foot, threw a perfect pass for a touchdown at the end there.
He had one, sure. I'm talking about the stretch
Right.
at the end of the first half, though. It wasn't good. He was consistently getting pressured. I don't know if it was the receivers weren't getting open fast enough, but there was a lot of incompletions, a lot of they turned the ball back over. I'm like, okay, that's when I thought the game was going to take a turn. He wasn't dealing with it very well, and then obviously things changed. But
Yeah. You know what? I do believe it was a good game plan. I don't like not running the ball. I like offenses to be more balanced, of course. But you supplement that running game with short passes. So I like the game plan call. It kept him in the game. Ultimately, no, I don't think Dak should be throwing. What would you say? He threw 60 times?
Almost
He
60.
threw 58.
58 times. That is not a great game plan for healthy football team.
so Dak is on pace to throw 986 passes this year. So
Right.
after game one.
So
It's not
it
good.
it looks like the exact same goddamn team as last year. Then is what you're saying.
I think you can't read too much off of the first game. I don't think
Oh yes, you can.
Against the
we can
Super
be
Bowl.
we can be irresponsible with it. Absolutely.
against
Why
the
can't
Super
we?
Bowl champs, arguably the best defensive
No.
front in football.
No.
Well, a lot of people will disagree with you right
No,
there.
they will not. They
Absolutely.
will instantly think of the Los Angeles Rams, without a doubt.
They're in the
need,
conversation,
they'll
but
need, no, not even the conversation. They only need one man to make themselves the best front, and that's Aaron Donald. Anyone else they bring, it just makes it that much simpler. That defensive front, they didn't even give him a shot. They didn't even give Zeke a shot to really get warmed up. That isn't how you
No.
wear a defense.
I agree.
down.
I was real surprised they didn't come out and try to run the ball. That did surprise me. They come out and were throwing. I was
Well,
like,
I just mean,
you
like,
know.
God, you gotta try a little bit. I understand it may feel like it's running into a brick wall, but eventually that shit springs.
Yep.
It really does. Eventually, a little drip turns into what? So when I mean by is this not basically the same team? Let me go ahead and bring up the stats from last night, okay? For Dak Prescott. He had he had 58. My internet is taking a second. 1 minute there. So I also told you this before, that this is also Mike McCarthy's MO. When he was in Green Bay, this is exactly what happened too. He'd get away from the run. He would sit there and throw. And then their team, they did not compile into wins. So you have to be concerned with that. And he did it last year with the same exact team. He had a game here. And is it finally working? Yes, it is. So 337 of 57, 472 yards, 3 touchdowns. What's that sound like? That sounds pretty damn similar to this game, right? No, this is last year against the Seahawks. Threw 472 yards, 3 touchdowns, 57 attempts. You know what happened in that game? Same thing that happened in this game.
He broke his ankle.
No, not that game. They lost.
He didn't break his ankle?
No, not in that game.
Oh.
No,
Are you sure?
No, and I'll bring up the next one.
Seattle?
Yeah, Seattle. No, he lost. He did that to the Giants 2 games later when he had 166.
Okay, I thought he had.
So his first what was it? 1, 2, 3, 4 games. We won't count the 5th because he did get injured in that one. First 4 games, 266, whatever. They still lost that game. That was to the Rams, 20-17. But after that, Prescott 450 yards passing, 472 yards passing, 502 yards passing. Hold on, the highest rusher. First week, Elliott, 96. That's what Prescott's 266. Also against the best front and the best defense in the league in the Rams. The next one, 89, 34, 54. They don't run the ball. And this is not a recipe for success. They've already shown it. This is the exact same team as last year.
I think so. I think a little bit better defense here. Well, defense was so bad last year. Anything is an upgrade, right? So, I think
I'll give you that. You actually, I was like, hold on.
Defense
I'm
was
go ahead
so
and chop,
damn
and then
bad.
and then you put that at the end. Anything is better than what it was
defense
last
was
year.
so damn bad last year.
You have 2 very big bright spots. They're not there yet. We talked about this off air. Trayvon Diggs is going to be a star in this league.
I think so too.
They finally got something right. Speaking of the Rams, they could have had Jalen Ramsey over an ordinary running back, Ezekiel Elliott. They could already had the shutdown corner in that draft. They finally got it right, and they also got it right with. I believe they're going to get it right with Micah Parsons, but there's too many gaps everywhere else. You're still going to be chasing. You're still going to be playing this. We're going to have the same conversation next week when he has 55 pass attempts, 400-something yards, and you guys lose by a touchdown. It's going to be the same thing because that's what they do.
Well,
and
they
they
may be in
show
the
no
realm
different.
at least a touchdown. Glad to see you come back down here to earth.
So 21 was a little bit.
21 was
just a little bit
for week 1.
Hold on.
Even for week 1,
hold
man.
on. If we swing the pendulum, they were looking like they were about to hit the 10-point plateau before Godwin fumbled, right?
Right, but if we're
They were
thinking
ahead
about
throughout
what
that game.
ifs,
That
Cowboys could have put in their 3 points for touchdowns. They could have. If we're all looking at
Yeah,
what
if they would have
ifs.
put them in, they still would have lost.
I mean,
so they don't. What I'm getting at is that game was way further out than what it actually was for you guys. It took a lot. It took every bit of Dak Prescott's sore shoulder to keep you in that game, just to even get in the realm of possibility. You guys are going to kill this man. You're going to do even worse to him than what you guys did for for Romo. You're going to have a shitty defense for the most part. You're going to try to have to wing the ball everywhere to try to salvage, and because he's going to get oh, we got to win, blah blah, and it's just very frustrating. And then what you need to do, you need to trade Zeke in the offseason.
you need to do what the Vikings do.
hold on.
That's kept them from winning Super Bowls all these years.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's go back to when you were swimming in your dad's sack when the first one happened. So calm down.
I was born in '93.
I said that first
wasn't
one.
there the
I said the
last
first one.
Oh, yeah, that was. I
Okay.
may even have been swimming in there yet.
Yeah. Right. Might have still been building up to that.
All right.
I It's frustrating to see because I do like Dak. I like Dak coming out of Mississippi State. I watched him playing for Mississippi State and watching him with his mom and all that. It's just frustrating to see that and then delusional Cowboy fans think they see something when it's really just the same. It is the same, and unfortunately for him, it's going to be the same. You're not going to be able to trade Zeke because unless he starts tearing it up. But let's say he does tear it up. Let's say he actually gets his 1,200 yards or whatever, somewhere in there. You need to trade him. If not, you need to cut him and try to get some of the, whatever I don't know the salary cap situation with him and all that, but put that money towards that defense as soon as you were able to, because you can put any serviceable. That offensive line showed some hope last night in certain spots.
Oh yeah, they held up to a pass rush.
So they can have.
Greatly.
So my point is like you could put a half-ass decent running back in and do just fine. You don't need a name because that's what Zeke is a name. What they would, yeah.
Go ahead, say some stupid shit. And let's
no,
go.
it's not even stupid. I'm just telling. I can't believe you can't see the same thing right now.
No, I
think
I
see
told
the
you
same,
we should have taken Ramsey back in the day.
I agree with that, but I know you agreed with that, but what I'm saying is I'm seeing the exact same team. I think you're gonna have the same damn thing. So in those same games, even through that Cleveland game, so he didn't break his. They actually won that Giants game, 37-34, which I assume is where he broke his shit. Because he only had 166.
Yeah, it may have been there.
But
I knew it was dark blue.
But in those
jerseys they're wearing.
In those 4 games, they were 3-4. That is what your team is going to be. I have never felt more confident. In fact, they may be sub 500. I had them at 9-8 when we went through this.
We already got our bet going. So
yeah, but I feel confident with it watching what I watched last night. And
watching what you watch. Because
yeah,
there's going to be teams that won't be able to keep up with that offense.
Who?
A lot of teams.
Who?
Minnesota Vikings won't be able to keep up.
They don't need to because they're going to shut them down on defense.
The defense is not better than Tampa Bay's.
Yes, they are. Did you watch Tampa Bay's defense last night? Yes, they are.
Right. Our offense is that good.
No, it is that much better. I'm telling you.
One thing I learned last night is how important Gallup is to your team. Gallup is a stud out there for you guys, man. I think he opens it up a lot more.
I don't know if you noticed. He's going to be out for 3 to 5 weeks.
Exactly.
Yeah, we did forget to touch on that hamstring or
was it ankle?
Calf
injury.
Yeah. So he's out 3 to 5.
Yeah, that's a big deal.
Definitely.
I'm not sure what's going on with your tight end situation. Seems like 2 guys kind of.
Yeah. So it was crazy. Jarwin got the extension right, and then he tore his ACL like first quarter, and then Schultz played pretty darn well, and then come back, and it seemed like he was getting the start. And he had 65 yards or something like that, 6 for 6 on catches. Definitely interested in what goes on there. They've talked about putting Pollard out receiving. So be interested in what they see if Gallup definitely goes down for that 3 to 5 weeks, as they're saying.
They need to put Pollard in at running back.
Well, so the thing is, Dak, and this is kind of frustrating to me because Zeke is your guy, right? Zeke is the man. He's the running back. He was used so little in the run game, but he was beating himself up blocking those fuckers coming through yesterday, man.
Yeah, he did a hell of a job picking up extra backers and stuff.
Yeah, he did. I'm giving him credit. He did a hell of a job with that.
A lot of energy saved when you don't run the rock.
But that's my point.
Absolutely.
Like, that's not how you want to be using him. Like
right.
I get he's getting better at that, and that's a strength this year. But fuck, you got to. I don't know. You got.
I don't know. I think y'all are reading too much into game 1. I think they went trying to stay away from that front 7. Especially with Zach Martin out.
That's a
horrible. You're all all pro guard.
That's a horrible attempt
you're
at it though.
All pro guard. You try to stay away from, potentially a weakness, their strength. Let's try to stay away from it. Let's go short passes. I don't know. I guess we'll have to watch the rest of the year, right?
Oh, yeah. We'll go ahead and let's go ahead and play the game.
Anything's better than watching the shshitty Vikings, right? Continue to let you down. Continue to let you down.
There's nothing more consistent in my life than the Vikings letting me down.
Yes, we can always plan on that.
We have high hopes. He had 11 rushing attempts.
Yeah, and Pollard only had like 3 or 4, I think. So
that's all. That's all I'm saying. Even if I want to concede to you that they're the best front 7, okay, you can't get away with only doing.
No, I agree. I think you got to have 20+ rushing attempts.
You have to.
For myself, I just think it was game. That's what Kellen Moore went with supplementing the run game with going short passes.
So where are you going? You're telling me that they're not going to throw over 50 passes next weekend?
You know what? I looked at that in the Chargers. That could be another high-scoring game. I do like Justin Herbert and those receivers as well. Anthony
Against
Brown.
your bad defense.
Yes, our corners. Our corners are really bad.
Your secondary in general.
Yeah, our secondary.
And Trayvon's not bad. So
I've
already given that.
With our
But he's a
safeties and
rookie.
our other corner, he's
Yeah.
not rookies. He's got a year in the league now. But I don't know. We get Malik Hooker back, so we'll see if he can hold stuff down in the back end. If he can become a player that he was in the past. We will see.
If Dak is healthy all year long, as in he's able to save his own life and run for his life, because he's passing every fucking down.
He wanted to run for his life. The pass blocking was
It wasn't bad actually, especially in the second half. I remember him having like all the time in the world back there. So I'm not knocking the pass protection. What I'm saying though is when you take that many pass attempts, 50,
I don't want. He should not be throwing that many times.
No, not even just the throw part. I'm talking about not even him physically throwing the ball. He's taking that many pass drops. That's 58 attempts of them trying to come and rip his head off. So you think that's going to happen every single week, that someone's not going to get to him? And so what I'm saying is I'm still seeing it all the way down the list. And maybe Philadelphia, he'll be able to take a little bit of a break. But that's also a division game. We talk about that. All bets are off when it comes to division games, right? Especially rivalry, big-time rivalry. But after that, you have Carolina, New York, New England. You're going to be doing the same shit. New England's a better version of Philadelphia. So even with but my point is see, your boy's going to be averaging 50 because of that.
I don't think
so. Of the way because he runs the offense. He's going to be averaging 50 attempts a game.
See, even with Kellen Moore, it's always been kind of a run. Let's try to burn the clock, keep our offense on the field. It's our best thing. Keep our defense on the field because they're our worst thing. I don't know. I can see them going back to the run. I think trying to stay with the front seven. Now, like I said, I don't agree with 14 carries from all your running backs. No, I think you got to run, establish some kind of balance. But, we have to keep looking.
Can we agree that the Cowboys' best chance to have a winning record and potentially win the division, Zeke has to run for at least 1,000 yards this year, right?
Well, first
1,200 yards?
First off, any one of their running backs would have to. So it doesn't have to be Zeke, because I'm telling you, he's a bum.
Well, led the league in rushing.
They need to, many years ago against the best offensive line in the league. Let's calm down.
Should have had a third.
You could have ran for 1,000 behind that line.
Dude, I could have ran for 1,500.
Yeah, see, exactly my point. You're proving my point.
Just Le'Veon Bell-esque out here.
Tony Pollard
should get more
Tony Pollard is
shots at this shit to show you.
I've been saying he should be getting playing time everywhere. Kick return,
but that being said,
wide
yes.
receiver.
So to answer your question, Zeke doesn't necessarily have to have it, but yes, they need to have somewhere in the ballpark of, in my opinion, 12 to 1,500 yards rushing from running backs throughout the whole year. 17 games, remember. So I'm building it out a little bit, but you need that in that system and there's no goddamn way, as long as everyone stays healthy, that they're gonna beat Washington. That is way too tough of a. If you thought Buccaneers defense was tough, wait until you meet the nutsack sweat of Chase Young and Montez Sweat on the other side. They have Jonathan Allen up in there. They have that defense. They have rotational pieces that are about the same.
Flipping teams, huh? No more Viking stuff in your house, huh?
No,
that's what it sounds like.
No, I'm just saying Washington in that division. It is Washington's clear cut, and that also made it clear for me last night.
Yeah, just to give the Cowboys defense a little bit of props, did you guys see, I think it was in the first half, maybe the second quarter.
Hey, you're done being a Vikings fan saying this shit.
No, just you'll like where I'm going.
Okay.
But there was a point where they should have had a strip sack. Did you see that, where he clobbered Brady? How the fuck?
How did he hold on to that?
Oh, my God.
Oh, I did see that.
That was crazy.
Oh, did you hear one of the funny, I think it was Chris Collinsworth, and I'm not a Collinsworth guy, but when he had the perfect one. He's like, Tuck Rule 2.0.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, he knows he's got the Tuck Rule.
He's got that Tuck Rule.
I did see that. That was crazy.
And by the way, speaking of Collinsworth a little bit, I know he made that booth a mess last night talking about Tom Brady.
Oh my God.
It's almost like listening to Joe Buck and Troy Aikman.
They should have brought their
Aaron Rodgers and the Cowboys. Like when those two play each other, the Packers and the Cowboys, and you have Aaron Rodgers on the one side and you just have the Cowboys on the other. oh my God, it's a mess up there.
Yeah.
Just,
Get the muck boots out, the rain
get
suit.
the muck boots. It's getting nasty. Get some Lysol, some fucking.
Oh, man.
Oh, yeah. It's just so gross. And that's exactly what Chris Collinsworth has going for Tom Brady. He just, oh, my God. And I've gained respect for Tom. We've talked over our time that I'm a Peyton Manning guy. I still believe Peyton Manning is the best quarterback to ever play. I'm not going off of championships. We're going to get that out of the way right now. I'm talking about if you had your life to bet on for one fucking game, who do you want leading that team? I want Peyton Manning leading that team. That being said, I gained way more respect after he left. I was like, well, you know what? I've always been wait until they separate. Belichick and Tom Brady, see what happens. Tom Brady shows that he wasn't just a system guy. He's shown that. So to me, he's gained way more respect. So it's not as annoying for me to hear his name being said as it used to be because Tom Brady, Patriots, blah, 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 blah. My grandpa is a Patriots fan. Love you, bro. But seeing him with the Bucs and still being able to do it at an extreme high level and a different offense and everything like that. But still, Chris, get a hold of yourself, Collinsworth.
Or don't. And
or
don't, whatever.
Try to do that. What is that? Something about Mary? You never go out. You never go out with a loaded gun. You never go out.
All right, Rio. So does that change your opinion about the Cowboys season? How are they going to do now after Game 1 loss?
No, I think it's still going to be close. I had them losing a close game. I was wrong. I thought the defense would play and the offense would be sloppy. But I figured the Buccaneers would win in a close game. So dead on there.
But dead wrong with it being a defensive game. Gotcha.
But
dead on there. I love how you give
I wasn't 21 points off.
Yeah, but I wasn't the other way where you said it was gonna be 12-9 or something.
21 points off. You were. Well,
didn't he say like 12-9? We didn't even beat that up enough.
Yeah. 21 points. I told you it'd be a close game.
My favorite thing is sneaking that in there. So I was dead on there, and we'll just move on.
Dead on there. Yeah. No, I think they got to get some balance on offense. Defense, I think, will be okay. They got some growing pains there, some young guys in a secondary and such. I think they got to get secondary help. Hopefully Hooker can be part of that, come back and be a former part of himself.
He didn't play last night?
He didn't, no.
Okay.
He's inactive, so, our safeties
Hurt?
No, just they're working him back easily from that Achilles injury.
Yep.
So if he can be any part of his old self, there's already an upgrade right there. At safety.
You already had one. He's up in purple, and evidently he's balling out.
No,
so you'll be able to see him
horrible.
this Sunday.
I got to see him a lot.
No. And that shitty scheme, baby. You'll see.
Well, I do agree that
and
Tampa 2 is horrible.
And opposite Harrison Smith. So
yeah, I would like. You know what? Actually, Dan Quinn has gotten a lot out of this defense after seeing the one game, and it'd be interesting to see him in the scheme. But that Tampa 2, yeah, Cowboys defense has been bad for a while, and so yeah, I agree letting people fail in that kind of system. So Dan Quinn seems like he's turned it around, started putting some pieces together, getting turnovers, stuff we didn't get last year.
Do you think he'll be able to get Jerry Jones to actually draft another defensive player in the first round this year?
Man, I hope so. I was hoping.
I know we hope for it. Honestly, I don't like the Cowboys, but I'm like, God, you need defense. You need defense. He started doing a little bit. Does he go another year where he goes defense though?
Man, see, they had a.
There's got to be a shiny receiver out there that he's got to grab.
We missed Derwin James, right? He got taken a pick before us. We didn't move up to get him. I was like, go get him, go get him, go get him. We don't know what we had to give up to go get him, right? So who knows with asking price? But at some point, you've got to figure. We waited on Surtain, and we missed him, right? J.C. Horn, we missed him, and it's like Micah Parsons. I think it was a good pick, right?
Yep.
He looking like he's going to be a stud. But you've got to get some cornerback help. Trevon Diggs, I think that was the right pick.
Yep.
I'm not sure about this Kelvin Joseph. I think he may have fallen to us later.
No, I no. First off, I gave you props saying that Diggs is going to be a star in this league.
Yeah, I think so too.
He almost had a pick later on that he fucking almost got like high jumped. In fact, it would have went for it. There was no one else around. Mike Evans, would have went for would have went for like 40 yards.
Yeah,
and Diggs got up there and just got enough of his hand on that ball.
That would have been a game in almost game.
So players like that always get me excited because that's on a different level. Like that's not scheme, that's instincts.
Right. I hope they trade Van Der Esch and go get a corner, honestly. I think we got too many linebackers. I don't know if you noticed what they did with them last
Or
night.
Zeke.
Or Zeke. I don't know. I think you keep him and see what happens.
How many more
I
times
do.
you need to see it?
I think you got to at this point. I don't know what dead money is.
You need to have a fucking leprechaun party, and then he'll get excited again.
Here we go.
Yeah.
All right. I think we got. I don't know if y'all saw what they were doing with their linebackers, but rotating them in, and basically what it was telling Tom every time what they're going to do. Micah Parsons, Kazee in when we think you're going to pass, and then Van Der Esch and Jalen Smith when you think we're going to run. So, kind of tipping the hand already.
One thing we have to touch on, because it's been blown up all over social media, is the quote-unquote potential pass interference.
There was a couple interesting ones. That one was interesting, and also I don't know if y'all see one of the Levante Davis almost made a pick, right? He took his helmet off and slammed it on the turf, and bounced back.
I didn't see that.
Yeah, that was clearly in the rules. It states you can't take your helmet off for any reason to celebrate or any gesture.
Mm-hmm.
That would have extended, Cowboys were on 3rd and goal or whatever, so potentially gives them a first down. That one was weird. Refs kind of first game, whatever, but that one was weird. They called a face mask on Tampa Bay that clearly wasn't a face mask.
There was a couple clear penalties where 4 of your 5 linemen all false started.
Yep.
So there is that.
Yeah, they did do that. I think they couldn't.
The pass interference, I don't think it was near as bad as what they made it seem. Like when I watched it live, it was not that.
Falling.
He was already falling on a dead stop back shoulder. I'm not saying that
the arm. I'm not saying.
I'm saying I don't think it was.
It was
his
there.
His arm was there.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely, and I agree that it was like this. But his momentum was already taken in that way anyway.
So I think if you're gonna call pass interference, offensive pass interference, you got to be consistent, right? Y'all remember the Rams game, the Cowboys? Michael Gallup, all he did, his arm was way up here. He kind of just did this, whatever. They were kind of hooked up, and they called it pass interference. This was much worse than that was. And
I distinctly remember a way worse play that was called, and that was my man Sam Bradford taking a shot to the helmet by your Cowboys.
Don't remember. Can't recall.
Yeah, yanking the helmet down, too. The helmet was down, going into the end zone for the game-winning touchdown.
And they lost.
Yeah, my mouth's starting to taste like shit. So let's talk about Tampa for a second. I'm tired of talking about the Cowboys.
I thought you were just thinking about your Vikings and how they always lay you down.
No, we've talked about the Cowboys way too much. So Tampa, looking at an undefeated season or what? I don't know if Tom Brady's going to let them lose a game this year.
That offense looked pretty. So their defense can only go up, right? Because that was not a very good showing.
Didn't they have an injured? Was one of their safeties out?
Antoine Winfield was out there playing.
Cornerback. One of them got his arm dislocated.
Oh, was that Bunting?
Yeah, he got by Winfield hit him. Friendly fire, dislocated his elbow. Looked like.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what it was.
But that being said, their defense can only go up from here, right? Their offense is pretty damn close to unstoppable. The run game is, lacking, but I think that can be corrected, and I don't know if it's going to be with, my man quote unquote LeGarrette, or if it's going to be Ronald Jones, because Ronald Jones showed last year that he can run the rock. The dude can't catch the ball to save his life either, though.
Right.
So Giovanni Bernard for that, though.
And absolutely. So it would have to be a split at that point. And Fournette, God, just has all the potential. Just something is not quite there when I watch him play. But everything else is there on that offense. The offensive line, he has all the time in the world. I shouldn't say all the time in the world, because even when he does get quote unquote pressured, he's one of the fastest quarterbacks to get it out. It's like 2.6 seconds or some shit like that. So
he's right around that 3.5 area. I don't know about pressure wise, but just getting the ball out is right around that 3.5 range.
Yeah. Well, the one they were showing was like 2.6 when there's pressure or something like that. But either way, I think they have everything. They're gonna be one hell of a tough out. Let's put it that way. One hell of a tough out. And they're gonna need any team would need Tom Brady to be having an off day. They have receivers everywhere, so you're not gonna stop them that route.
Mm-hmm. Everywhere, especially if Gronk keeps it up too. That was unexpected.
Yeah, especially the Gronk too.
Yeah,
The run game is the one thing, and then the defense we all know is probably going to come back up.
Yeah.
I don't think the defense is going to stay down where that. I thought that was a miserable showing on defense. I really did.
Well, and I'll be real with you. A big reason the game was that close was because Tampa just gave the ball away 4 times. Cowboys didn't take the ball 4 times.
Exactly what I was
Okay.
saying. Yes.
2 fumbles. What are you talking about?
Tampa
You
gave
take the fumbles, right?
Yeah.
He punched it out. That is clear. You
Nah.
can't even say for it.
Yeah.
He punched the ball
Nah.
out.
the one on Godwin is what you're talking
No,
about.
that was. I don't remember who had it actually. I can't remember if it was a run or if it was a catch, and the dude DeMarcus Lawrence just punched it out. Godwin, it was just helmet on ball.
That was Godwin's. Yeah. So Brady's interceptions, I think they cleaned that shit up. The fumbles, all right. If you legit had the fumbles, then we can give you credit for
Fumbles
that.
are legit. I'll give you the picks. Fournette couldn't bring the one in. It was a little high pass. His twist and catch. But whatever. So if he doesn't, do that, whatever. And then the one at the end of the half, he's just chunking it.
Really
Mary.
didn't matter.
Yeah, it didn't
Yeah.
matter.
Yep.
Yeah.
That one definitely is not a big deal.
Right.
No, but damn, they had a hell of a return back. Maybe.
I was like, oh man, they're about to do this.
Yeah.
Because I think only Tom was left and maybe the center.
No, I wasn't worried. Tom Brady leaned forward on the bench.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
I saw
Yeah.
that picture
I'm
too,
not
yeah.
even.
Yeah,
I
as
was
soon
even
as they
worried.
had to kick that field goal, and I just was like, well, they left too much time.
Minute 24 is forever
Yeah,
for him.
and
man.
then leaning Tom, I was like, yeah, this is over.
Yeah, I was scared. No run game, and you're trying, they're driving down. I'm like, all right, cool. And they got a couple penalties. I'm
You
like,
don't even know what his completion percentage was, but kudos to him for just wanting the victory because the last 3 passes he literally intentionally threw way out of bounds to the left just to kill time.
that's weird. That also another one that I was
It's
wondering about intentional grounding.
No, well, there was one borderline-esque, but the rest of them there was a receiver in there.
Okay.
Yeah, he just
Yeah, I seen it come across, and
Yeah.
people bring it up, and I was
There
like,
there was one that I did actually half-ass think, and that was one that he took a shot down the field. And,
Oh, yeah, and nobody
there
was
wasn't
around.
a receiver anywhere in the ballpark.
Yeah.
and
what was that?
It was on the right side on the
Antonio Brown was short, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, he just
I
winged
don't,
it. and
I don't
was
know
like,
if you're
what
allowed
the
to. I don't know if you're allowed to chalk those up as bad route running or miscommunication on route running. I should say. I don't know how.
heck?
that
Yeah, it was
shit
way out
works.
of bounds. It wasn't even close, I don't think.
Yeah. No, but it was way downfield and out
Yeah.
of bounds.
Yeah.
So. Yep. That I feel confident in the boys picks. My Cowboys picks. I'm more than confident, and I think Tampa was gonna be real tough to beat this year.
Boom. Well, I think that about wraps it up today, boys. Anything else before we go?
Or I don't know. Did you get to think about it? Or make sense if it
Makes
right?
sense
Makes
if you
sense
don't think about
if you
it.
don't
What do
think
you
about
got?
it. Oh,
No.
he already did one. I already did one, and you're next.
I just did one 2 days ago. The 2 podcasts ago.
Well, technically, I've done more than all of you.
You have the best job in the world where you can talk about all of these stories. bro.
We are blessed with being with our fellow employees that come in of not having the most IQ points. So
Wow.
we do have that going
Yep.
for us.
Yeah.
So if you don't have one, I will go ahead and I will throw one at you. Now I can't give you the exact game. I tried to look it up for this purpose of telling this story, but there was a time we were watching a Seahawk game in we'll just say the control room.
Like
And-
break room at work.
Yeah, the break room.
Gotcha.
It would never be doing it on the clock.
Never.
And we're sitting there watching this, and a guy, two fellas there. One of them is our guy Luke. Luke has Seattle's defense on his fantasy team. Okay, it's defense special teams. Anyone that doesn't know fantasy, and the guy he's going against in fantasy just so happens to be watching this game with us in there.
Corey.
Coco Haagen-Dazs.
Coco.
So kind of a tight match, and there was a fake punt. It was so I do believe it was John Ryan. We looked this up. I think it was John Ryan. I don't know that for a fact, but so they go and they have a fake punt, and he either runs for a boatload or throws a pass, and that's where I'm going to mess this up a little bit. But either way, it was a big time play, and Luke's like, "Oh hell yeah, there's some points for my defense, special teams, baby. Here we go." Corey's like, "What do you mean?" He's like,
he ran it because he was like, isn't the
yeah,
punter
yeah,
the running back?
Yeah, that's what it was. He ran
Yeah.
it. He's like, "What do you mean? He ran the ball. He's a running back." Like, excuse me? Can you pick John Ryan up and put him in your fantasy lineup as a goddamn running back? Well, no, it's a running play, though. I'm like, so they're arguing back and forth about this. And I look at Corey. I'm like, hey, have you ever played Madden? Oh, yeah. I'm like, that play that just happened right there, where do you go find that one in? What area? Well, you find it under the special teams. It's not a running back. So adamant, so pissed. I think Luke even got points for it too, so it even put more fire on there, more fuel on the fire, and he just went completely dumb right there. The punter was a running back in a kick in a punt situation that turned into a fake punt. Makes sense if you don't think about it.
Hey, man. Special teams, special players.
Special guy in Corey.
Miss you.
Gotta love it. Well, thank you, everybody, for listening. Definitely check us out. We're finally on Apple Podcast.
Boom,
along with
boom.
Spotify, YouTube,
that one's huge.
all of those different platforms. Like, share, all that fun stuff. And let us know where we were misinformed or what you guys think about the upcoming weeks and even the college games tomorrow.
Hey, shout out to whoever the individual was, man, woman, in Germany.
From Germany.
From
thank
Germany
you.
that listened to our podcast. Appreciate you. Hopefully, fan, you keep rolling with
Thank
it.
you.
But from I do believe, and I could be slaughtering the name, was it Hesse, Germany?
I don't know. I love seeing that.
I did.
International
Yeah, that
connection,
was
baby.
huge. We seen so before it said 100% USA, and then after the Apple one came out, we look at it and it says 99% United States, less than 1% Germany.
All right.
Yeah.
Get on us. Social
dick.
media accounts, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram.
Come on, battle with us.
3
Come
gig
on.
sports for everything.
Let us
Come
know.
on, three gigs. Come on, baby.
All right. Big games tomorrow. Go Hawks. Have a good night, everyone.